Hello, dear student. I welcome all of you. Myself, Professor Ashok Kumar, and I am working in Department of Mechanical Engineering at Dr. Subhash Technical Campus. Dear student, if you have attended my previous video lecture on same chapter, heat engine, uh, at that time we have discussed on an introduction of heat engine, where it is used, its practical applications, its important elementary parts, and at the end we have also discussed about the Carnot vapor cycle that is being used in particular heat engine. So that portion was highlight about in initial and introduction part. Now remaining portion that we are going to discuss in this particular video lecture. So this video lecture will be the heat engine part 2, in which specially we will discuss the remaining portion. So let's start. Uh, in particular, my first video lecture at the end, we have discussed about the Carnot cycle. Now it's time to discuss about the second thermodynamic cycle, that is Carnot vapor cycle. Basically, in that particular cycle, in Carnot vapor cycle, working medium is used as a vapor. And this Carnot vapor cycle is widely used in thermal power plant. That means coal thermal power plant, gas thermal power plant. All such a power plant, you will find application of this thermodynamic cycle, Carnot vapor cycle. Now look at the top diagram. It is the diagram of a thermal power plant in which a boiler is there, turbine, heat exchanger, and compressor. So this is the main elementary parts, or we can say that the elements of a typical thermal power plant, in which particularly specific process is carried out. And if you are combine that all that processes that is performing particular boiler or turbine or even compressor or heat exchanger, your combination of process result into cycle, and that cycle is Carnot vapor cycle. So look at the diagram. You have also given the diagrams which represent the properties relation like temperature and entropy and pressure and volume. So over here, boilers stand in between 1 and 2 notation. That means 1 to 2 process is carried out in boiler. So if you are looking at the TS diagram, then from the diagram we can easily see that during process 1 to 2, during we can say that the process which is performed in boiler, temperature remain constant, whereas entropy will be increased from S1 to S2. Whereas if we are talking about the property of pressure and volume, pressure will remain constant, whereas volume will be increased. So we can say that in case of boiler, the temperature and pressure will be remain constant. Entropy will increase. Of course, volume of the working medium is also going to be increased. And as we know that in case of boiler, we are supplying heat. So Q is supplied in case of boiler. Now after that, there is a process number 2 to 3, and that is performed within the turbine. So if you are looking for the property relation, then temperature of that particular working medium is going to be decreased, whereas pressure will also going to be decreased. Similarly, entropy will remain constant and volume is slightly increased. This is so because in case of turbine, there is an expansion process. And this expansion process is technically known as a isentropic expansion process. So it clear means that in that particular isentropic process, entropy will remain constant or same. So that's why entropy S2 is equal to S3 in case of turbine, or we can say that the isentropic expansion process. Whereas due to expansion, it's very clear that the temperature will be decreased from T2 to T3. Volume will be slightly increased from V2 to V3. And once again, due to expansion, pressure will be decreased in more amount, so P2 to P3. Look at the diagram. Due to expansion, the rotor of turbine get and receive the mechanical energy, and due to that rotation from the turbine, we are getting mechanical work. So this is the output from this process number 2 to 3. Similarly, if we taking process number 3 to 4, that is performed in particular heat exchanger. Basically, exchanger contains the numbers of tube in which working medium is circulated, and above and below, that means around that particular tube, so there is a cooling medium required to be circulated. So over here, there is a heat transfer. Heat is absorbed by this cooling medium from the working medium, and in that way, cooling medium become warm, hot. Well, and on the other side, the working medium gets cool, and its temperature as well as temperature is going to be decreased, whereas volume will be a little bit decreased. So over here, 3 to 4 is the kind of heat exchange process. Now, after that, there is a 4 to 1 process, and that is performing compressor. Once you have the cool working medium, you need to circulate the same working medium to boiler again. So for that, we need to have the compressor, and compression process is there. Basically, this process is known as isentropic compression process, and that's why the entropy during this process number 4 to 1 is remains same. That means S1 is equal to S4. Due to compression, of course, temperature will be increased from T4 to T1, whereas volume will be decreased from V4 to V1. Finally, pressure is going to be increased in more amount. It's from V4 to V1. So this is what about the various processes we have discussed. One more thing, during isentropic compression process, in order to compress the working medium, we should to supply the work in order to run the compressor. This screen shows the basic highlights that we have already discussed in previous slide. The basic uh, relations of various properties, heat and work relation in various processes that we have already discussed. Now it's time to derive a relation of efficiency, especially for Carnot vapor cycle. So before derivation, we should to start with, you have to consider 1 kilogram of working substance, that means working medium. And first of all, you should to calculate the whatever the work developed or received uh, from the entire power plant. So the work developed by the turbine, that is equal to H2 minus H3. Over here, H2 is the enthalpy at the point 2, that is the total content of it actually, and H3 is the enthalpy at the end of the isentropic expansion process. So if you are measuring both of the difference between enthalpy at the entrance and outlet of turbine, definitely it will term it as a work developed, because enthalpy as per the heat engine law, enthalpy or heat difference definitely give us a work output. So over here, in order to calculate the net work or simply work that is delivered by the turbine, is just the difference between enthalpy at the entrance and at the exhaust of turbine. Similarly, you have to also calculate the compressor work that is required to run the compressor. So once again, uh, we have to take the difference of enthalpy at the outlet. There is outlet of compressor, there is a higher enthalpy. At the inlet of compressor, there is a lower enthalpy. So its difference gives the compressor work or the power or work required to run the compressor. Now suppose your turbine producing 100 newton into meter as out turbine work, and your power plant compressor require 20 newton into meter like work, then net work that is being produced from the thermal power plant is turbine work minus compressor work. So you have to calculate after that network, and that is calculated from the turbine work minus compressor work. By putting the relevant value over here, you will have relation of net work is H2 minus H3 bracket minus bracket H1 minus H4. Now, once you have calculated the output work from that particular thermal power plant, you need to calculate the input. And in this particular cycle, or say the power plant, we are supplying heat as an input. So heat supply should be calculated in terms of enthalpy difference. So Qs, that is the heat supplied, and is equal to H2 minus H1. Over here, H2 is the enthalpy at the end of a boiler process, and H1 is the enthalpy that has working medium has at whenever it enters inside the at, at the boiler inlet. So just this entire efficiency relation based on enthalpy difference, because enthalpy difference gives either net work, compressor work, turbine work, or even heat supply. Now, once you have calculated network and heat supply, it's very easy to calculate Carnot vapor cycle efficiency. And that is output upon input. Over here, output is the network, and input, that is the heat supply. By putting the relevant values over here, and if you are solving it, you will have the relation like 1 minus H3 minus H4 upon H2 minus H1. Now, if you have clearly seen the diagram, you may see that the H3 minus H4, that is basically 3 to 4 process and enthalpy difference. So over here, kindly concentrate the process number 3 to 4, and which is carried out in particularly a heat exchanger. So H3 minus H4, if you are going and doing so, you will have the heat rejection. Similarly, just go through 1 to 2 process. There is a boiler process in which, especially if you are taking the enthalpy difference, it will give us a heat supply. So ultimately, this enthalpy relation will convert it into heat relation, like 1 minus QR upon QS. Now, once you have calculated efficiency and you require to calculate entropy, then change in entropy is the, we all know that it is the ratio of change of heat with respect to temperature. And now heat rejected, definitely MCQ delta T, based on that relation we can have the QR is equal to T2 S3 minus S4. And similarly, you can also calculate heat supplied in terms of temperature and entropy relation, like Qs is equal to T1 S2 minus S1. Basically, this both of the equation is taken from this relation of change in entropy. In this relation, if you convert this equation in terms of heat energy, you will have TDS. T is the temperature, and DS, that means change in entropy. So over here, we have used the relation of change in entropy with the multiplication of temperature. So ultimately, it gives us the relation for heat rejection and heat supply. Now, in that way, you can also calculate the Carnot cycle, and that is this 1 minus QR upon Qs should be replaced with both of these relations. So QR should be replaced with T2 S3 minus S4, and QS that is replaced by T1 S2 minus S1. So over here, you may see that the S3 is equal to S3, and S3 is equal to, we can say that the S2 or S4 is equal to S1, because this is the isentropic process, and particular isentropic process, and there will be no change of any kind of entropy. So this term, bracket term, will be cancelled out, and ultimately you will have 1 minus T2 upon T1. So this is the efficiency relation of Carnot vapor cycle. From this equation, you can predict some limitations too. Look at the limitation number 1. It is very difficult to achieve adiabatic compression, because liquids tend to separate out from the vapor. That means 4 to 1 process represent adiabatic compression. If you are compressing at a higher magnitude, it may possible that the liquid will be get separated from the vapor. So this is a two-phase mixture, and it will be not allowed for the proper operation. So this was the first and very affected the kind of limitation associated with Carnot vapor cycle. Second limitation is, in actual practice, compression and expansion are never possible to have irreversibility. In real manner, if you are going to perform reversible process like expansion and compression, it will be never possible to achieve. Third is, in order to have the superheating of steam at constant temperature, pressure has to be reduced. Suppose you require more amount of heat with the highest temperature, you have to raise temperature up to superheating limit. So up to hit the steam in superheating level, you require to you have to maintain the pressure as a constant property. So it's very difficult that the one side you are supplying heat up to superheating stages, while other side you have to keep the pressure as a constant property. It is very difficult. So this third limitations play vital role for the performance calculation of Carnot vapor cycle. After that particular Carnot vapor cycle, there is a Rankine cycle, and it is currently being widely used in various thermal power plants. Basically, this Rankine cycle is invented by William John Rankine, and its contribution towards this cycle, Rankine cycle, name given to this cycle is a Rankine cycle. Now, in case of Carnot vapor cycle, we have seen few limitations. One of it was the it it's very hard, or we can say that in case of the compressing or the pumping, it may possible that the vapor and liquid get separated out. So this particular limitation is overcome in case of Rankine cycle. Along with it, a complete condensation is made in condenser and water is isentropically pumped to the boiler. That means there is no issue of the second phase mixture. In case of Rankine cycle, there is a condenser which condenses 100% of all the working medium into a liquid form. So if the liquid that's so formed from the condenser is pumped in pump set, then there will be no chance to any to liquid or the vapor that are being separated out from the each other. A pure liquid will move and enter inside the boiler. So this is the limitation that has been overcome in case of Rankine cycle. As what I have earlier discussed, this type of Rankine cycle is widely used in power plant, or we can say that a few thermal power plant, nuclear power plant too. Look at the diagram. It is a typical kind of thermal power plant in which boiler is there, turbine is also there, condenser is used in that particular power plant, and at the end pump required to pump liquid form only. Now let's talk about the various processes that are being performed in case of Rankine cycle. First, an important process, that is an isentropic expansion, process number 1 to 2. First of all, look at the title of this process, isentropic process. So it clearly means that entropy within this process will remain constant, whereas pressure and temperature is superheated, because from the figure you can easily see that the state 1 is located at the superheated region. So over here we can say that the pressure and temperature superheated, where or dry saturated steam is expanded from here to up to this point number 2. And due to that expansion, we know that there is a work we receive from the process number 1 to 2. And other property like pressure and volume, pressure is decreased whereas volume is slightly increased. So this was the isentropic expansion process. We are getting work from this process. Pressure decrease, volume slightly increase, entropy remain constant, and temperature definitely will be decreased. Now process number 2, that is the heat rejection 2 to 3. Look at the diagram from the process. You can easily see that the pressure will remain constant, whereas due to that particular heat rejection over here, volume is decreased from V2 to V3, and this entire process number 2 to 3 is carried out in condenser that we have seen in previous slide. uh, Steam, exhaust steam generally exhausted over here in the terms of the liquid, because whatsoever the heat that has in a particular working medium is rejected to cooling medium, and in that way that particular steam is get converted into liquid. Cooling water is required for performing this heat absorption and rejection process. And once again, uh, whatever the heat rejected to the cooling medium will become warm, hot, and it will be exhausted through outlet of that particular heat exchanger. After that third process, that is the compression. Actually, it is the isentropic compression process. Uh, Generally, in that particular process, entropy remain constant first. Then after pressure will be increased from P3 to P4, whereas volume will remain same. Volume is remain constant over here. So P4 is equal to V3. Particular in that process 3 to 4, we required to some compressive devices, compression devices like pump, like a compressor. But especially we should to use pump because the working medium has the form of liquid. So pump is used over here. And last process, that is the heat addition process number 421, and that is basically performing boiler. Once again, heat is added by keeping pressure as a constant. Uh, Volume is increased from V1 to V4 to V1, whereas, of course, entropy, or we can say that the other property will be changed. So Qt is supplied by combustion of heat. There is a large amount of heat is to be produced in boiler, combustion chamber or furnace, and that heat, that is Qt, is supplied to the working medium in this particular boiler section. So this is the thermodynamic process and its relation with properties like pressure, volume, temperature, heat and work. Now it's time to derive the relation of efficiency of Rankine cycle. And efficiency is equal to always the net work output and heat supplied as input. So from that relation, first of all, you require to calculate heat supplied, and heat is supplied in boiler. So Qs is equal to H1 minus H4. Over here, H1 and H4 are the enthalpy difference, higher enthalpy minus lower enthalpy in case of particularly boiler section. Then after work developed by the turbine, that means isentropic expansion process, you can have the relation Wt is equal to H1 minus H2. Heat rejected at heat exchanger is Qr is equal to H2 minus H3. And fourth one, that is the work required to pump the liquid, that is equal to H4 minus H3. So once you have the heat supply relation, work developed and work required relation, you have also calculated heat rejection, then it's very easy to calculate net work output. And net work output is the work that is being produced by turbine and which should be subtract from the work that is required to compress in a pump. So Wt minus Wp, that indicates the network, and by putting relevant values, you will have H1 minus H2 minus H4 minus H3, that is the network. Now, by putting all these values into efficiency equation, over here, that is the net work done, and over here, that is the heat supplied. By solving this equation, at the end, you will have 1 minus H2 minus H3 upon H1 minus H4. That is the efficiency relation for Rankine cycle. Now, suppose as compared to compression work that is required to run the pump, the turbine work is very large. So you can neglect the pump work. If you are neglecting the new relation of efficiency will become N Rankine is equal to 1 minus H2 minus H3 upon H1 minus H4. Because just you have to, if you are neglecting the pump work, that means this work, the entire term of this enthalpy difference become 0. So ultimately, you will have 1 minus H1 minus H2 upon H1 minus H4 relation. Now, after that efficiency calculation or derivation, we are going to discuss about the difference between Carnot and Rankine cycle. The first difference is that the exhaust steam is not fully condensed in Carnot cycle, but in case of the Rankine cycle, we know that we have discussed that there is a pure condensation, and from the outlet of the turbine, whatsoever steam is entered in heat exchanger like condenser, where uh, all the quantity of condenser is being condensed and it is converted into liquid medium. So this is the first difference. In Carnot cycle, we are not getting the pure condensation, but in case of Rankine cycle, it is possible. Second difference is that the compressor used in Carnot cycle, whereas pump is used in Rankine cycle. We are using the compressor in case of Carnot cycle because at the end of condensation or heat exchanger, we are getting vapor form of working medium. So we need to have the compressor, but in case of Rankine cycle, there is a liquid form and liquid form required a pump. So this is second difference. Third difference is superheating of steam in Carnot cycle is very difficult as compared to Rankine cycle. So this is the few differences between the Rankine cycle and Carnot cycle. Dear student, this lecture typically we have taken on the Rankine cycle and Carnot vapor cycle. We have discussed lots of the physical parameters, its relation between work and heat, work and various other properties. At the end, we have compared both of the thermodynamic cycle, Carnot vapor cycle and Rankine cycle. I hope that you are getting well through this my video lecture, especially on heat engine part 2. If you are finding any query or having the questions, let me inform. Uh, I will discuss and solve your query. Kindly stay tuned with us. Thank you. Thank you very much.